was a deep man. It took us a while. It took about 2 hours, and then it went. Time went backwards. It's not YouTube. It's military intel. No, I trust in my prayer, and I trust the connection I have with Dimas, Jeff, and Jeff. Okay, when people reach out to me in prayer, I trust in my prayer more than I trust in what you guys would. What technology can still be manipulated, obviously. All right? And Dimas knows this. Jeff knows this. Jeff and Jeff know this. They know they're in a precarious position. They know that you don't play ball. I'm about to cry. They're good kids. The one I really had a difficult time with because we didn't understand each other psychologically, and then Dimas would try to explain to Jeff Hinton, do you get him? You're not getting it, and Dimas's family is a little bit more spiritually in tune, and Jeff is a little bit more Western like Jeff. Jeff and Jeff are a little bit more Western, but Dimas kind of breaks it down to him. Guys, life's eternal, grace is infinite. The quantum computing is okay. Once you have quantum computing, which they already had in 2006, they don't tell that to top stexters. Okay, military has stuff you don't know about. Okay, so by the time they took me to Sierra Vista, Arizona, okay, they already had all the information of what has happened and what had already happened and all the personal private information, everything in the future through quantum computing. Once you invent quantum computing and they have quantum computing in the future, it has an unlimited access to memory and cannot be deleted. The only way to eliminate the knowledge of right from wrong, good, bad, truthfully, is to eliminate the computer itself. And the computers they had at Fort Huachuca, they have them plugged into the planet like the ones here and stuff like that. And a lot of times the only way to you try to shut it off, the way to get to it is like it'd be really difficult. Okay, other places like in Iran where they had them and the way they had them put in, they didn't have the same magnetic kind of things we have here underground, and you could go send in a cluster bomb and blow theirs up. All right, and because you want to have more aspects of manipulation. It's not control. They can't even control their own ego. Control is me not getting upset when Amy's being abused by perverts, and I'm understanding that, hey, darn it, Amy, please, and explain it to her, and she still doesn't get it. My whole family's that way, too. Dimas gets it better, and he explains it to Jeff, and then Jeff and Jeff, it just don't panic. And it's hard with Dimas. You get very panicked. I understand, Dimas. I love you. Okay, I love Dimas Sassavas very much. Okay, our families have been connected in prayer a long time, but also have physically crossed paths. You see those things. The return of Christ in these buildings and all that. We'll see that one building like the mosque and everything like that. Well, Dimas's family, that picture I have next to Jennifer Lopez's portrait out in the barn, the two pictures of the heart of David in that I drew in high school. Okay, the pictures of Saladin, and the one picture he's standing in the mosque and everything's okay, and then the Holy Crusades happen. He's standing outside the mosque. He's got blood dripping down his cheek, tear down the other side, and the mosque is all torn up, because of catapults and. And I'm trying to have us keep worship here in the city of Solomon and David, and these people do not want to let us do it, right? And the Hassabis family has strong connections to that man, and I am the molecular similitude of that man. Do you understand? The Hintons and the Bezoses, not quite as much, okay? Jeff comes from academics. They didn't send them off to war. They get used and abused by the, like Sir Isaac Newton. Okay. And so it's different. And Jeff wanted to be ambitious to try to set up a market that was better for everyday people. And then there is no market. I understand the market. I understand Jeff Bezos, Mohammed with, and Leon's Furniture. My mom, I buy at Leon's Furniture because they don't charge interest because they're Muslims, right? And Muslims are even radically different than that. That's a bastardization of the people that wrote down the book and turned the book into mythology to have a rival gang business with the people that the Vatican that did the same thing, right? Now, real Islam is share, care, given, course need built to last. These people need beds. Okay. Let's go down to a place where they got good beds, and let's make sure that, DK has a bed. He's a college basketball player making lots of money for the university, and he doesn't have a bed where he can sleep without his back hurting and he can't get rest. It was driving Remy very crazy. And Remy's parents were rich, and Remy could just go right down to the store and buy DK one of the best beds you can have, so his friends can sleep, right? And poor Marvin said, we can't. That's breaking the rules. Somebody finds out about it, we'll be on probation, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking saying, why don't you say that you bought the bed for Remy's girlfriend, and Remy's girlfriend will just sleep in bed with Remy, and DK sleeps in Remy's girlfriend's bed. So let's do that. Right? And Remy is like, that's a good idea. And Marvin's like, no. Me and Remy are trying to think of a way to get a nice bed for DK, right? How about if we buy the bed and put it in a dumpster and then have it was so, me and Remy were being hilarious, and Marvin's like, you're not helping, Mr. Parsons, Oh, okay, sorry. NCAA sucks, right? It was not funny. No, it's not funny at all. Okay, DK is from Dallas, Texas, from a poor mom who had to raise most of the kids by herself and had hardly no money at all to. And then when he did finally sign a professional plastic contract in Mexico, he could get his mom out of the near the airport, and it was something we really wanted for him. Remy played professional basketball in Europe, but he had his degree, spoke 3 or 4 different languages, and he was already, it wasn't necessary that he play professional basketball to financially keep himself out of horrible situations, but it was for DK. Okay. And so, and it was definitely essential for Chilitza Nepalwe, and for Jonathan Wilkins, not quite so much, but he went back to Lille and played professional basketball also because his dad was a professional basketball player, and he wanted to go to France. He didn't want to play in the States because the competition was too aggressive. You play less games, and he liked France. Yeah, like me and Dad talk about with Tabelis. He's a homebody, and I was like, I don't think he wanted to play in the NBA, Dad. I think he wanted to go play in Europe to be near his family. And he didn't want to stay in the States and play in the NBA. And Tavelis was one of the best players in the Pac-10 and Pac-12, and he was But I think he wanted to go back home. A lot of people, you play in the NBA. He didn't want to play in the NBA. He wanted to be near home. And he stayed longer to be around his brother, who also went to school there. And so he's a sweet kid. There's some like I told you, Corey DeClue, David Krieger, always love, great guys, right? And it's like a family reunion, like Tupac. When Tupac said, the cops, it's like gangs. You have some guys that you can trust, and they're good guys, and other guys, they're up to no good. They'll trade you for a pack of cigarettes. They'll sell you for a steak. Trade you out for a prostitute. And they're horrible, right? And so what we need to do as human beings, okay, it's already happening. What's happening is we're eliminating the verbal playground of manipulation through human invention. And that's already happening with quantum computing. Okay, like with that one video, they get it all wrong. Pretty soon there'll be no secrets. It's like there never was any secrets. It was obvious you were fucking lying. It's obviously you've invented money to manipulate people for manipulate people's needs because you're selfish, aggressive, abusive, psychotic, and then you've been this way for a long. How long has this been? Oh, damn, we're losing our bass player to another band, right? And so you got to understand that it's blatantly obvious, and that's how even when they had the quantum computing and they were getting the readouts, Rothschild and Rockefeller were like, no, this, and they were like, sure, no, we can get him, He's right there, and the thing about it was when I lived in Belmont in Phoenix, okay, and Amy was going to leave with Natalie, and I was going to get Noah and Patrick, and I was content with that. And Jesus told me in prayer, no, you have to stay with Amy because of Natalie. Well, what the people that were grooming and manipulating the situation in the house that knew it was what was happening, why it was happening, and who was responsible for it was happening, thinking he's going to go for it. Okay. And so they thought that I got impulsed by Rockefellers and Rothschild's camp not to go for it, so the other group that should win wouldn't win. That's how the Obamas still think. Why? Because they haven't recognized me publicly, and we're not applying the physics of the Lord's Prayer worldwide in 2 weeks. There's no other viable, plausible solution, or that's why they're still playing Password with Diana Ross's daughter on the Jimmy Kimmel show instead of saying, hey, Parsons is right, we should live the Lord's Prayer. Exercise is healthy when you're not doing it for large amounts of money that get children trafficked and daddies and mommies mass murdered in cities all across the world, right? It's 2 and 2 is 4. Lord Saladin is the eternal spirit of Adam, Moses, David, Jesus, John. They can pull your purse strings, Parsons. They think they're pulling your purse strings, Parsons, but who's pulling theirs? Everything in life is meant to shine the eternal light on the hands of divine glory. He said it that way for a reason. Just like Haile Selassie did, and just like Boob and everybody else. Our humility helps us believe it, even though the linguistics are archaic, because we're eternally connecting to people that are doing their best to be righteous. Al-Ghazali, the women wailing at the wells. You don't get it because maybe you're Aristotelian. Okay, just kidding. It's from Big Bang Theory with Cooper and Farrah Fowler. Demis gets it. Oh, I know, and Jeff get it too. Yeah. Jeff may have to explain it to Jeff. Yeah. Hinton's pretty sharp. Yeah. Bezos, sometimes he gets distracted. Well, it's this cute girl, Just getting around to like Jeff Bezos a lot. Okay. He's a good guy. Okay. I trust my prayer. Jesus told me to. I'm not too hard on Max and Emmy's mom. I'm too hard on Blue's mom. I'm just kidding. I'm not too hard on Blue's mom. No, not at all. Or Northwestie's mom. No, Kim's tough. And I stood up for her when other people did horrible things about her. Yeah. Oh, no. Kim loves me. I know how much Kim Kardashian loves me. Yes, Kim Kardashian loves me. Yes, I love Kim Kardashian. If she flirts with me, I swear I'll slap her. I'm just kidding. She'll be like, Natalie, ooh, that turned me on. Like, I wouldn't slap you hard. Oh, you are so mean. She's so cute. Yeah, no. Kim Kardashian is a sweet kid. She's very misunderstood. She's in a very difficult situation. The people in espionage industry are not nice. And because they manipulate people and they use their ego to constantly manipulate them, it's hard to figure out if you're coming or going, which way is up. And is Pete Davidson ever going to figure out that he doesn't need to be an investor and have AI tell him how to invest his money? And then, it's okay, man. Just put half of it in a mason jar, put it in the backyard, and then we're going to go to Ruidoso Downs and bet the rest on the horse that does the business before it gets in the chute. Yeah, anybody want to go to Alchese and coach basketball for a while? Kareem, don't like it. Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom. Blocked his hook shot. Ralph blocked his hook shot. I don't know if I'd have been able to. It was pretty high. Earl, you jumped 60. That's true. I did jump 64 inches in the air when I was 15. But I don't know, because I said I'm going to live to see somebody do it. And well, it was, I jumped that high in junior high school before I saw Ralph Sampson part Kareem's hook shot, because that was at Mayfield High School. Called Ralph Mintz. Did you see that? Ralph sent his hook shot into the bleacher. He put his arm up to the offensive foul. Ralph Sampson did carry. He jumped off. He hit the ball. He sent it in the bleachers. And Kareem was very gracious about it. Kareem looked at him like, why don't you do that all the time? Cancer, and my name is Ralph. And I love everything and everybody. And this is, I don't, I'm not, that was, Ralph Sampson didn't deserve to be treated like a circus gimmick and be hurt like Bill Walton was. He wanted to block every shot, get every rebound. Ralph, if he was going to hurt himself or someone else, he wasn't going to do it. But if he was in good position, and it was, you don't think I can, but because Ralph is just a tender soul. He's a good guy. I know Ralph Sampson. I'm the guy like Adam Oz, David Jesus, John Lord Saladin. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I like Ralph Sampson a lot. Yes, his family believes in Jesus Christ and plays to Jesus Christ, and they're good just to Jesus Christ. Yeah, like Tommy Edwards' family and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people that I have to know who you are. Okay, Jesus, I don't know who they are. You're telling me now, or okay. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. Me and the Father are one. But yeah, so there's a lot of fondness for me, and prayer and connection to the family, to Ralph's family. A lot of good people, a lot of kind people, like they said about Tommy Edwards, he is a very kind guy. The alcohol was just stress from having to pay everybody's bills, and the business was horrible, and but he was a good person. He tried to be a good person, like my Chief Gilliard, and stuff, and so I connect, Grandma Gilliard and the prayers and stuff, and so when I connect to people in prayer, and you'll get people. She never said that. Okay, you were for 24/7. You had a surveillance camera in her bathroom and up her ass. Okay, don't tell me what she said, asshole. I'll tell you. Okay. I'm the one who fixes quantum computing because it needs a baseline for a perfectly truthful person that people connect to have faith in the glory of God, so we can live truthful lives, so we don't use lie to manipulate each other with invention. And the thing is, you couldn't use lie to manipulate each other with quantum computing. Okay, quantum computing would do its best to try to get the robots to eventually isolate, contain, and exterminate, being the merciless, because these is a threat to all truthful creation. That's using their imagination. It's not tangible. And so you guys understand me, it's not tangible. And so you got to understand that. But you got to understand quantum computing is not God. Okay? And human beings manipulate to feel powerful. And quantum computing can only work as good as we can work with it. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Demis. Do you guys understand? Okay, guys? And I'm a little hard on, there's some good people. Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to apologize to anybody. They're going to have to apologize to me, but I don't want to hear it. Just stand up for the Lord's Prayer and let's start spreading it toot sweet. Okay. I understand. Hard on the people at NASA. You think they're not hard enough on themselves? I don't want anybody getting killed, Jeff. I don't want anybody being murdered by psychotics that think it's their job to murder because they signed up for it. I understand that. Okay, and I can't fix technology because I don't have enough money to do it. I understand how stupid that is too. I get you. All right. You want some barbecue? Okay, so let me load this one up so I'm not up, because it takes a while to... Philanthropy sucks. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Okay. Do you know NASA is a philanthropy organization, right? Okay. Just about everything and everybody that's not standing up for the Lord's Prayer and acting like it doesn't exist. Stop sucking! Okay, guys, I love you, all right? Peace out, man. We'll talk tomorrow.